Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off a 50-cent pick four at Gulfstream Park on Fountain of Youth Saturday with graded stakes action. Race number 5 is the grade 3, the very one for fillies and mares going a 3-turn mile and 3/8 on the turf. Let's take a look at this field. An interesting horse coming off of a lengthy layoff in here, Mike, is the number 5 Virginia Joy. We have not seen this horse since July. It is Chad Brown. He's excellent off layoffs.
Yeah, I really don't feel like you're supposed to worry about the layoff too much, although this is a pretty long one for a horse who was in decent form when we last saw her, Dan, and her 2021 campaign was over in July. So I guess that could be a little bit of an issue, but she certainly looks like a major contender in this race.
Doesn't seem to be a ton of speed in this race. We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector. They've got Kelsey's Cross in front, and she is stretching out off a couple of fast-paced middle distance races. I think Mezcal, the 6th, the Pletcher trainee, stepping up into the stakes ranks for the first time. I think she's going to try to make the lead.
I do too. The way I looked at the race, I thought the 6 would probably be on the early lead in here. Not that Kelsey's Cross couldn't get there. I mean, she has shown speed at times, but it seems pretty rare, especially lately, Dan. For the most part, especially in their turf races, they just take her back and try to make one run.
Kelsey's Cross, the number 1's a horse we've always liked. Maybe she hasn't panned out to be a graded stakes horse like maybe we thought earlier in her career, but she's been rock solid. They ran her on synthetic last time out. I'll draw a line through that race. She didn't have to like that surface. She is more of a turf horse, and the one time they really stretched her out in the Dowager, she was far from embarrassed, but she also didn't have an excuse.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, she wasn't that competitive in that Dowager. I would just say, going a mile and a half in that grade 3 race. I mean, for that distance, that Dowager had a pretty solid pace, and she was close to it. Closers came and filled it out. She lasted for a little piece, but I thought she ran okay that day. And then you go back to her Suwannee River 2 back on turf, Dan. Just a race that was dominated up close, and she's last early with no real chance to make an impact. I mean, I can make excuses for her. I still don't think she's necessarily good enough to beat this field.
Harajuku, the number 2, is a group winner in France, trained by Graham Motion, who finished ahead of 3 of these rivals in the Via Borghese on New Year's Eve, going this distance. Let's watch that race right now, and we see Harajuku making a long, wide run on the turn. She's going to get right into contention, and listen, always shopping the horse that beats her has a lot of class, and it really comes down to a bob.
Yeah, she just misses. She's actually got her head in front here late. It looks like she's going to win. She doesn't quite seal the deal. Just misses at the end of this race. If nothing else, it was a good bounce back performance for her, Dan, because when they got her over here at the end of last year for that Jockey Club Oaks, I thought she ran great that day with a pretty poor start as well. Her next 2 starts in New York were awful performances. I don't know what happened. Feels like she got back on the beam last time. She's a major player in here.
The number 3, Onyx, in both starts this championship meet, finished behind Harajuku in the Via Borghese, finished behind Beautiful Lover in the La Prevoyante. You could argue maybe there were points in both of those races where she didn't have the cleanest trip, but she is really going to have to improve here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she did improve in those last 2 starts with more distance, so I guess that's a good thing. The problem is especially the last one, when you go back and watch the replay of the La Prevoyante, she got a great trip in there. Saved all the ground, was right behind the winner through most of the race, and she just wasn't good enough to make a real impact.
Here's Michael Maker, first time stretching a horse out in distance. It's been a proven handicapping angle over the years. The 4 is Guinevere, making her first start as a 4-year-old. Now, when we last saw her in the Winter Memory Stakes, she didn't run very well against 3-year-old only stakes foes. The 7th horse came back to win the Tropical Park Oaks with a 94 buyer. This horse's only win came in a maiden claimer, but it's Maker.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that's the only thing to like about this horse is that Maker's taken over, and maybe that'll make a difference. Based on what she's done so far, she's not competitive.
Virginia Joy, the number 5, is the layoff horse for trainer Chad Brown, a Group 3 winner in Germany. This horse has a good amount of stamina. Let's watch her last start of 2021. It came in the summer at Belmont in July, and this was a race in which I think she was forced to move a little bit early when the horse on the outside, Delta's Kingdom, made an early bid herself. She digs in very gamely to finish second behind Call Me Love, who might have benefited from the 7 and the 5 making that early run. She finished ahead of Muta Makina, did Virginia Joy, a horse that would come back to not only win the Grade 1 EP Taylor at Woodbine, but also the Grade 3 Long Island.
Yeah, I don't disagree with your take on her most recent start, Dan. I'm not a big fan of Call Me Love, who wound up winning that River Memories, but she did get a perfect trip. And maybe Virginia Joy just moved a little too soon in there. I don't know. At the end of the day, when I look at her 3 races since she got over here, I do think she's a contender in here, but for me, it will just all come down to price. And if she's a fair price, I guess I'll use her. I feel like because it's Chad and Ira Head with graded stakes credentials, she's just going to take a lot of money in here. And I don't really want a short price on her.
Horse with all the upsides, the number 6, Mezcal, Todd Pletcher, owned by Bobby Flay. Here's a pioneer of the Nile filly that's won 2 out of her last 3. She got washed off to the synth last time out. It didn't matter. She went 1.5 miles. She wants all kinds of distance, and she was able to just get to the lead and keep on rolling along. The runner-up would come back to win a synthetic one other than with a 73 buyer. She handles turf just fine. It's whether she could handle the step up in class.
Yeah, step up in class, and she's just going to have to improve to go with these horses. I mean, there's not a bunch of killers in this field, but there are some good long-distance turf horses in here, and she hasn't run a race yet that's going to beat them. Maybe she goes right to the front, gets really brave up there and takes a big step forward, but all those things feel like they have to happen.
I think the 7 Family Way is a really interesting horse in this race. I don't know what to make of Kentucky Downs form, but I kind of like to race in the ladies marathon 2 starts back going 10.5. Now, it looked like she did get a pretty good trip in that race. She saved ground going into the first turn. She got to the outside where you want to be turning for home, but she really grinded it out and was strong in the stretch. And in the EP Taylor, that didn't work out at all.
Yeah, it didn't. She actually got an okay trip in that race too. The EP Taylor, she just got a little tired in this stretch. That was a better field than this one too, I think. I don't know. I'm with you. I thought her Kentucky Downs race was a really solid performance, good trip or not. I thought she really ran well there, and she also ran well prior to that when they put her in against the boys in the Kentucky Turf Cup preview race at Ellis. That was a really fast pace, and she was close to it. Made the lead in the stretch before 2 closers came and got her. Those were 2 good performances, Dan. I just sort of like this since she's gotten over here. Only 3 of her 6 starts have come on firm turf, 2 wins and that really good third at Ellis Park. I feel like firm ground helps this horse.
Took the words right out of my mouth. And in that EP trailer, it was far from firm ground. It was yielding, and she just didn't seem to get over it as well as she did in her prior starts. Beautiful Lover is the number 8 going out for Christophe Clement, and this one just won the La Prevoyante on January the 29th. Let's take a look at the 6-year-old's 2021 debut. She was able to stay up close to a legitimate pace, but look at the trip she worked out under Joel Rosario, just able to save ground, alters course off heels. It's a perfect situation, and Beautiful Lover does the rest.
Yeah, she just got a great trip in this race. And then she was very game through the stretch. Once she switched clear, she's going to come and run down the aforementioned Always Shopping, who, as you said, has a lot of class and was on a relatively easy pace in there. So good effort for Beautiful Lover, but also a really good trip. It felt like the horse that ran second to her there, Sorrel, maybe overcame a little bit more trying to rally from out of it. I don't know. This horse could win right back for sure. I'm just, not really sold on her, and she'll be a shorter price this time.
We just saw Sorrel run second to her stablemate, and maybe she's just racing herself back into shape. This will now be her 4th start since her North American debut during the 2021 Gulfstream Championship meet, where I thought she ran a good 3rd behind the excellent Warlike Goddess. The Long Island, the race where she came off the layoff, I mean, she went 1.5 miles off the bench. She probably needed that race. The Via Borghese, that's the disappointing race for me, Mike. I can't figure out what happened there. She was better last time.
She was better last time. 2 back if you're looking for an excuse. I mean, it's not a huge one, but she did, sort of lose some position around that final turn because she just tried to stay in. She got shuffled back a little bit and then couldn't make a late impact. Ran a lot better last time. That pace was not fast. She was out of it. She made up a lot of ground at the end. That was an improved performance for sure. I don't know if she's better than Beautiful Lover, Dan, but if I had to just take one of the Clement horses, I'd take this one.
I tend to agree. Let's take a look at our top selections for the very one stakes. Family Way, Virginia Joy, that's the exacta for both of us. I kind of just chalked out with Virginia Joy, but I'm really interested in Family Way. I'll use both.
Yeah, they were the two horses that I wanted to focus on too. I was just a little concerned that Virginia Joy was going to be an uninteresting price in a race that sort of handicaps wide open. I feel like Family Way fits right in here, and I just think she'll offer more value.
7529 for Mike, 5729 for me. Same superfecta, different order, and the very one at Gulfstream on Fountain of Youth Saturday. Good luck.